You've entered the vast marshlands of the Nin-in-Eilph with Nalair in order to escape Belach and his orcs. Now you must cross the swamp in order to reach Hollin on the other side. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Line Unbroken, my progression-style playthrough series of the Lord of the Rings living card game. Here I am playing the fourth scenario from the Ringmaker cycle, the Nin-in-Eilph. So, set up. The first player takes control of Nalair. Set the ancient marshmallow aside out of play. Each player searches the encounter deck for a different location and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. So let's take a look in our encounter deck here. There are 4 locations to choose from. Fen of Reeds I definitely do not want. It forces each player to exhaust a character they control when we advance a quest stage, which we are about to do. Sinking Bog is fine. They all have negative effects while they're in the staging area, except for the Hidden Ayat, which has a positive effect when it's explored, but a negative travel cost. I'm going to take the Sinking Bog, which gives -1 to all stats for items attached to characters. I have no items in my decks, very deliberately because of this card, which means that it's just one threat and I can safely ignore it for most of the game. And then the Finger of Glanduin, because I know that I can definitely safely travel to this, whereas I might not be able to afford exhausting a character on each side to go to this one. Simple enough decision. Let's shuffle up the deck. No traveller has entered the Nin-in-Eilph for an age, and there is no path through the shifting marshland. You must find your own way across the treacherous bog. When revealed, advance to a random Stage 2A. There are 3 different Stage 2As. So I'm going to generate a random number 1 to 3. 3. Well, that's annoying. All the different quest stages, apart from Stage 4 and Stage 1, have their own particular negative effect while they're in play. So, as you trudge through endless swamp, you begin to wonder if you will ever reach the other side. When revealed, raise each player's threat by 1. This is consistent across all of them. Time 3. Forced off the last time counter is removed from this stage, advance to a different Stage 2A at random. Return this stage to the quest deck. Each player cannot play more than 1 card each round. That's the really annoying part. And forced, when the players defeat this stage, advance to a random Stage 3A. So, yes, this is each player cannot play more than 1 card each round. The others are, player must discard a random card from his hand in order to commit characters to the quest, and players cannot gain resources or draw cards through player card effects. To be honest, the random discard is the friendliest one. Certainly for these decks. So, control end to begin the game. Now, this is the one case in which Nalair is actually kind of useful, because he is a dwarf and Bomber counts as 2 dwarves. I control 5 dwarves already, and so Thorin gains an extra resource, and I draw an extra card, which finally gives me an ally to play, so that I will still control 5 dwarves next round. And of course I need to draw the card manually over here. Test of Will. Okay, so obviously I'm going to play the Nimrace Prospector. I will trigger his ability to discard 3 cards from the top of my deck, and then choose 1 to shuffle back in, which will be the sneak attack. I already have Steward of Gondor in my hand, and I don't desperately need an additional Prospector. That is the 1 card that I can play this round, so that's it. Now, there's nothing particularly compelling that I want to play on this side, which is fortunate, because it means that I can save my 1 play for a Test of Will, potentially, or a Sneak Attack Gandalf. So, there is 4 threat in the staging area. Well, I want to be aware of the possibility that I might have to deal with enemies, specifically Nika Breakers, because I don't want to end up leaving them in play, which means ideally I want to hold back 7 attack for them, which, so long as Dane stays ready, would be Thorin and Ori. So, with that in mind, I'm probably not going to complete this quest stage. I'm probably going to let the time run out, go to a different stage 2, and then complete that one once the staging area is a bit clearer and I have more cards in play. So I'm not particularly concerned about making progress, just I don't want to raise my threat. So 2, 3, 5, 8. That should be enough. I did shuffle the encounter deck, didn't I? Yep. And a sinking bog. Okay, so there we go, that's exactly equal amounts. Now, I can definitely afford exhausting characters, so I could go to the Ayut. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, incidentally. Ayut, something like that. But then there's the question of whether I want to place 2 additional time counters on this quest, where I can only play 1 card per round, or if I would rather go to a different one and save that. So I think I'm going to go to the Finger of Glanduin. I'm ignoring the Sinking Bog. And so, in refresh phase, Control R, Nale moves across the table and then raises the stakes threat by 2. And we remove the time counter and Control N. Card here, extra resource, and card. Okay, so now I still kind of want to save for Test of Will and Sneak Attack Gandalf, so I'm still not playing anything. Meanwhile, over here, I think it's very important that I play Hardy Leadership. There's sufficient direct damage in this quest that having an extra hit point on all of my dwarves is going to make a massive difference, potentially. So, now there is 5 threat in the staging area. So, let's think. Actually, I can potentially quest for a bit more if I want, because I have the Sneak Attack Gandalf, which could help make up some difference in combat. So if we quest for 2... hang on. Let me just quest all that over here. 4, 7, 9. Let's go 11. And reveal another Finger of Glanduin and In Need of Rest. Remove a hero from the quest and attach In Need of Rest to that hero. Condition attachment with the text. Limit 1 per hero. Forced after time counter is removed from the quest. Attached hero takes 1 damage. I will play a Test of Will to cancel that, since I do not currently have a Miner of the Iron Hills in my hand with which to discard the condition. So I have added 3 threat, and I will make 3 progress, clearing this Finger of Glanduin, so I can travel to the new Finger of Glanduin. And okay, Nale moves across, lose time counter, Control N, extra resource, extra card. Okay, so now I have more scope for playing cards on this side, since I don't have to save for the test of will. What about over here? I think I'm just going to play an Airborne Record Keeper. Handy thing is, since I can only play one card per round, I've been saving up resources, which on the one hand means that I can play a lot of cards once this is gone. Also means that I can potentially spend those resources on having the Record Keeper use his ability to ready a dwarf, a different dwarf. Oh, actually, thinking about this, maybe I don't want to play the Record Keeper. No. I want to play Legacy of Durin onto Nori. This is in preparation for next round, when this deck will be the first player, so I won't be able to play it then and have it affect next round's planning. And we will be on a different quest stage where I can play more than one card per round. So I'll be playing some of these dwarves. And I might just play one of those dwarves now, actually. Or the Envoy of Pelagia, or Arnor in Fire. Arnor in Fire isn't going to be that big a deal. No. Okay, let's just play the Envoy. Add the resource to Mablung. And that's my play for this round. So, once again, I want to save back 7 attack. So let's go 1, 3, 5, 8, 9 against 5. I suppose I can do that. So 11 versus 5. Revealing Shifting Marshland. Surge, remove one time counter from the quest. I'm okay with this. So I remove a time counter from the quest. So I advance to a different stage 2A at random and return this stage to the quest deck. So random number 1 to 2. 2. And this one goes back in. As you trudge through endless swamp, you begin to wonder if you will ever reach the other side. Raise each play threat by 1. Time 3. Same force effect. In order to commit characters to the quest, a player must first discard a card at random from his hand. Forced when the players defeat the stage, advance to a random stage 3A. And this surges. In 2. Low on provisions. Each player must assign X damage among characters he controls, where X is the number of characters that player controls. So I don't have a test of will for this. 5 characters here, and 4 here. So, well, this guy has 3 hit points because of Hardy Leadership, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And over here, 4 damage. 1, 2. I could just put it all on Nori, but that's not particularly helpful for when I get Wardens of Healing. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, off track. I've still yet to see an enemy, which is interesting. I suppose we haven't gone through that much of the encounter deck. Alright, Surge. When revealed, attached to a location in play, counts the condition attachment with the text limit 1 per location. Attached location gets +2 quest points and gains forced. Remove an additional time counter from the current quest at the end of each refresh phase, if able. So I'll just put that on the active location, and it surges into another edit. Okay, so I've added 3 threat. I make 3 progress, which does not explore the Finger of Glanduin because of off track. That is unfortunate, but there's nothing I can do about it. So this quest stage is not going to be sticking around. You can now play more than 1 card each round, though, which is something at least. Did I get my extra card and resource this round? I'm not 100% sure that I did. No, I did. It's fine. Okay, so there's really nothing I can do here. I don't think. So all that remains is to layer over here again. Raise threat by 2. Remove 2 time counters because of off track. And control hit. Making sure to get an extra resource, an extra card. Draw a card here. Okay. Now, let's say I currently control 3 dwarves, so I don't want to play Warden yet. I will, of course, play Gondorian Fire and Blood of Numenor onto Mablon. Pay 2 for Veteran Axe Hand, lower my threat by 1 for Nori, and draw a card for Legacy of Durin. Pay 2 for a Ziggle Miner, lower my threat by 1, draw a card. Pay 1 for Dwalin, lower my threat by 1, draw a card. And yeah, let's also just play the Battle Master, lower my threat by 1, and draw a card. Alright. And this Battle Master is currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attack. Now over here, well, I can't get my threat down enough to not engage the Marshadows if they turn up, which means there's no particular incentive not to use Deep Knowledge, although, well, other than my threat could be an issue in the long run. So let's pay 3 for Biffa, and draw 2 cards. Pay 2 for King Under the Mountain. Exhaust it to look at the top 2 cards. Take Sneak Attack and discard Steward of Gondor. I'm on the random discards right now, so I should play the remaining Steward of Gondor to make sure I don't lose it. I'll also play my 2 Erebor Record Keepers. Steward of Gondor. I've often found this to be useful on Nori when I've done test plays with these decks. Obviously it would also fit on Mablon with Blood and Fire, but I'm going to assume that I will continue drawing into spirit things as I have on other plays. If nothing else, it makes it easier to hold back a resource for test of will. And I suppose that will be it. Right, so 1, 2, 8 threat in the staging area. So that's quest. 2, 5, randomly discard from hand. Sneak attack. No, actually, no, wait. Let me think about this. Because I could just sneak attack Gandalf. That would be quite useful. And ensure that neither of those things is discarded. So hang on. Sneak attack Gandalf. Draw 3 cards. Okay. Now commit to the quest. 4, 7, 9, 10, 12. Randomly discarding an Micro Stargazer. I need 15 progress. I wanted to actually advance. Currently at 12 willpower. 2, 4, 6. No, let's just go with 18. So I think I can be pretty certain that I will explore the Finger of Glanduin and make some headway on clearing the staging area. And this deck also needs to randomly discard. Deep Knowledge. Okay, that's fine. I don't really want to raise my threat that much anyway. It's mostly there for a potential fast start. There we are, Giant Swamp Adder. And in need of rest. Okay. Remove a hero from the quest and attach in need of rest to that hero. Oh. That's a problem. So I suppose I really have to put it on Nori. He has the most hit points of the heroes who are actually questing. So I lose 3 willpower. And he will be taking damage. I have added 3 threat to the staging area, so I'm at 4 progress. That's fine. This is gone. Gandalf pops back to my hand. Let's travel to Iron. Exhausting Biffa and Warden. Engage the Giant Swamp Adder, giving a resource to Mablung. Nalea will defend it. Plus 1 future time counter on the quest. So it's a 4, Nalea takes 2 damage. Now 3, 9 attack, kills the Swamp Adder. Nalea moves back across the table, raising the threat by 2. This goes, dealing damage to Nori, and I have to get a different random. Stage 2, random number 1 to 2, 1. Alright, so it's just the top one. This goes back. Raise a threat by 2. As you trudge through Endless Swamp, you begin to wonder if you will ever reach the other side. Time 3. Player card effects cannot be used to gain resources or draw cards. And when you defeat the stage, it belongs to the random stage 3A. I should have played Deep Knowledge before advancing the quest, because I really want to desperately dig through my deck to find either some healing or some condition removal. I'm going to retcon and say that I did that And then if I did it before the refresh phase, which would have been sensible, then I could have also played We Are Not Idle, exhausting 3 dwarves to gain 3 resources on Thorin, and draw a card. Okay, so now that should all have been done before the refresh phase, knowing that I could end up in a situation where I wouldn't be able to do those things. And now we've advanced to the new quest stage, and I can start the next round. Oh, I also could have exhausted Steward of Gondor during the refresh phase before removing the time counter and thus advancing in the quest. Okay, I have drawn a Warden of Healing, so it's okay. I can still use King Under the Mountain. I do not get the extra resource and extra card from Thorin and Ori, because those are player card effects, making me gain resources or draw cards. King Under the Mountain does not draw cards. It looks at cards and adds one to your hand and discards the other. Nowhere does it use the word draw, so it's totally fine. I will take Daeron's Runes, which I cannot currently play, and discard Legacy of Durin, which is already in play. And then I will play this Warden of Healing. That's really all I can do. But over here, let's play Arwen. And maybe leave it at that, since I can't currently use Legacy of Durin to draw additional cards. Now I really need to push hard. So, okay, yeah, so let's make use of this Lure of Moria in my hand. So I'm going to pay 3 for Lure of Moria. And every dwarf on the table is questing, but then they are readied after questing. I'm also questing with Mablung, Arwen, and the Envoy. Arwen is targeting Bomber. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 10, 13, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 27, 29, 30, 32, 33. I'm questing for 33 against 5. Need to break these. And low on provisions. X damage, where X is the number of characters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 33 against 7. I make 26 progress. 2, 3, 4. Ah, this is an interesting timing thing. There was a ruling that responses to the active location leaving play are actually triggered after quest advancement. Because I guess it's that you place all the progress in one go. Which causes the quest to advance. And then, yes, because quest advancement is a passive effect. So then this location is in the process, sort of in the process of leaving play, or rather, it has already left play at the same time that I've advanced the quest. But the passive of quest advancement happens before the response to the quest leaving play, so the time counters will go on the new quest stage. I think the original ruling was to do with ancient madams and things like that, but I assume it would apply similarly to stuff that's actually on the quest card. The ruling doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it was an official ruling. Okay, so I go randomly to the second stage 2. Let's just... These are gone. The second stage 3, rather. Lost as you are, your presence in the marsh has not gone unnoticed. An ancient and foul swamp creature stalks your company. When revealed, raise each player's threat by 1, add Ancient Marsh Dweller to the staging area from out of play or engaged with a player, and heal all damage from it. So, threat by 1, threat by 1, Ancient Marsh Dweller to the staging area. After wandering aimlessly for so long, harried by foul creatures, your resolve begins to waver and your companions collapse from exhaustion. If you cannot find a way across, the swamp will erase all evidence of your passage. Time 3. Forced after the last time counter is removed from this stage, advance to a different stage 3A at random, return this stage to the quest deck. Each player cannot ready more than 5 characters during the refresh phase. And now this is gone. And I've got 2 more time counters in here. This guy's down to only 5 attack because Nale is on the other side of the table. Okay, so I need to deal with these Neek Breakers. This deck can deal with the Neek Breakers. I want to deal with the Ancient Marsh Dweller, so that he won't just be hanging around. I can sneak attack Gandalf to defend him. And then I need 13 attack to put him in the victory display. Because yes, 3, 6, 4, 9. Cannot have attachments. Gets +1 threat and +1 attack for each resource token on it, and forced after any number of time counters are removed from the current quest, place a resource token here. So if I can just put him into the victory display, so he's out of the way, then he won't stack up resources and be more threat in the staging area to get past. He'll come back when we go to a different stage 3 or indeed stage 4, but then I can just deal with him again. It's easier than leaving him in play, so long as I have the means to kill him, which I do. At least I'm pretty sure I do. So, 5, 7, 10, 12, 14, yeah. Although, that would mean I wouldn't be able to travel to it. What about on this side? 4, 7. I need to defend him. Jump. 12, 14. Could do that. Because yeah, yeah, I need everyone. No, yeah. Okay, actually, there is a possibility. I mean, I suppose I can do it either way, so I may as well do it this way. Babylon gains a resource. Oh, I travel, exhausting this guy and this guy. And I'll shadow up. I'm going to use my Warden of Healing to heal Nori and the Nin-in-Eilph Prospector, just in case of a shadow effect which deals 1 damage to the defending character. It doesn't. If this destroys a character, remove all progress from the current quest. There is no progress on the current quest, so that's fine. Warden will defend against the Meek Breakers. Attacking enemy makes an additional attack after this one. Yeah, okay. You know what, I can defend it with Nori. Okay. So that's fine. 7, 9, 12, 14. Marshmallow goes to the victory display, but since he's going to come back soon enough, I'm just going to put him over there. 3, 8 kills the Meek Breakers, so I won't have to deal with this forced effect, dealing more damage to my allies as time counters are removed. Nale crosses the table. A time counter is removed, dealing the damage, and control N. Extra resource, extra card, extra Warden of Healing, very welcome. Top 2. As much as I want to be able to sneak attack Gandalf, I'm going to take the Miner to remove In Need of Rest. There's still 1 Gandalf left in my deck. Okay, so Student Gondor. So let's pay 2 for Ezekiel Miner. Lower my threat by 1 and draw a card. Pay 2 for Blue Mountain Trader, lower my threat by 1 and draw a card. Pay 2 for an Imladger Stargazer. Look at the top 5 cards of my deck. There is a Test of Will, which is the thing that I actually want here. Otherwise, I guess that looks reasonable. Pay 2 for a Veteran Axe Hand, lower my threat by 1 and draw a card, which is a Test of Will. Move the Blue Mountain Trader across the table to take a resource from Thorin and put it in Nori so that I can play that Test of Will. There we go. Now over here, pay 2 for Man of the Iron Hills, discard In Need of Rest. So pay 3 for Glowin. Since I control at least 5 dwarves, I can add 2 resources to a hero I control, which I'll use to pay for another Warden of Healing. I'll also play Daryl's Runes. Let's finish this. Right, the O that I just said was because I can only ready 5 characters during the refresh phase. So, who was exhausted? Nale crossed the table after I readied characters, so he's almost certainly not ready. Let's see. These were not in play at the time. This guy was still ready. meaning this guy's still exhausted, and I readied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, not in play, not in play, not in play. Not exhausted. See, this guy didn't need to be exhausted, did he? I killed the Nika-Breakers with the Battle Master and an axe hand, and that was all I needed. So this guy, having been readied after Lure of Moria, still ready. So, still exhausted. Still exhausted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now I've cleared that up. Yeah, okay. We should be good to go at this point. Questing. I need a bunch of progress. I need 20 progress if I want to advance right now. That's not out of the question. How much of the encounter deck is left? How many enemies are left in it? Okay, there are 3 adders, of which I've seen 2. There are 3 Nika-Breakers, of which I've seen 1. So there are 3 more enemies left in these 11 cards. Odds of me seeing one are reasonable. Of course, I don't have another Lure of Moria to use. But okay, so let's sneak attack Gandalf again. For questing. Lower my threat by 5. So that's 4, 6 for definite. Arwen is still targeting Bomber. Nine. There's 2 threats on the stage anyway. $11, 14, 16, 18, 21. There's nothing inherently wrong with taking an extra round on it. I just prefer not to if I have the possibility of getting through all in one go. How much attack did this Battle Master have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I was up to 21 willpower. 23, 27, 29. Okay, let's go with that. Lord Provisions. Test of Will. and Sinking Bog. 1 additional threat. So I make 26 progress. And just as before. Okay, so these are gone. Just for your information, this one is each location in play gets +1 threat. Despite the size of the creatures hunting you, the swamp itself is your worst enemy. The ground sinks down beneath you and the mud pulls the boots off your feet. Every step forward is a struggle. While this one, as if the swamp itself was not bad enough, its foul denizens swarm around you, their serpentine forms slithering through the murky water that rises to your waist. And each enemy in the staging area gets -20 engagement cost. Fun times. But I've bypassed those, and I'm going to stage 4. Beyond all hope, you have reached the edge of the swamp. You can see the gentle rise of hills in the distance, but the huge marsh dweller that has pursued your company now lies between you and dry land. When revealed, add Ancient Marsh Dweller to the staging area from out of play or engaged with the player, and heal all damage from it. Then Ancient Marsh Dweller makes an attack against each player in player order. I forgot about this bit. Okay. Gandalf is back in my hand. So against the first player, minor. Dead. Against the second player, minor. Deal more damage to the defending character, and then dead. Okay. The many groping tentacles of the swamp creature grab at you. You must defeat this beast if you are to escape the Nin-in-Eilph. Okay, and now this has gone, and I get an extra 2 time counters, which won't matter. Time 2, just become time 4. After the last time counter is removed from this stage, Ancient Marsh Dweller makes an attack against each player in order. Place 2 time counters on this stage. When Ancient Marsh Dweller is defeated, the players win the game. I'll just travel to the Sinking Bog for no reason. Engage the Ancient Marsh Dweller. Faint the Ancient Marsh Dweller. I had other options. I could have chumped with this veteran axe handle and then brought him back out of my discard pile with Tamio, my kinsfolk. I could still do that with the Sigil Miner that I just jumped with to bring him back. Never mind. So let's do some healing. 1, 2, and 1, 2. So, 2, 5, 13. The Ancient Marsh Dweller goes to the victory display, and I have won the game. That could have been problematic if I'd actually revealed additional enemies from the encounter deck during staging, since I forgot about the immediate attacks from the Marsh Dweller on advancing. Well, I suppose with the Faint and to me and my kinsfolk, I might have still been okay. Meekerbreakers I could have potentially taken undefended reasonably enough. So what was left in the encounter deck? 2 adders, remove a time counter, a couple of locations off track. So yeah, if, as you may know if you follow my Facebook page, this is actually the second time I tried to record this. The first time I failed twice, and then my computer crashed in the middle of the third attempt. I feel like those attempts were possibly more characteristic of how this quest can often play out, because it can be incredibly frustrating with the shifting quest stages and so on. I mean, I think one big difference is that between that attempt at recording and this attempt at recording, I actually slightly changed this deck. I previously had only 1 copy of Hardy Leadership, and I added in 2 more, because I realised that it was an incredibly big deal, but partly it was just that I was really lucky and revealed very few enemies all the way through this time. which makes the quest a lot gentler. Because the massive concern of you always want to make sure you can kill the enemies as soon as they turn up, because otherwise if they remain engaged, I mean, you maybe have some grace from the adders in the first couple of rounds because you're low enough threat that they won't engage you, but that's not going to last for long because this quest drives your threat up like crazy. And so once you have to engage them, the giant swamp adder, after any number of time counters are removed, it attacks you. And the Nin-in-Eilphs, after any number of time counters are removed, the engaged player must deal 2 damage to an ally. So that's a massive problem. So you really want to make sure that you have enough attack power to kill them straight away and not leave them engaged ever. Which, as I guess you saw, obviously, early on, that was kind of reducing how hard I could quest because I was making sure to try and hold back 7 attack to kill Nin-in-Eilphs. The Swamp Adder, oddly, can sometimes be an easier thing to deal with because you can find an okay defender or a chump, whereas the Nin-in-Eilphs, well, that's the thing. The Swamp Adder you can chump or defend if you have multiple defenders, and since there aren't that many enemies, you don't necessarily get too worried about getting totally, pardon the pun, swamped in them. But this will just kill off a lot of allies, unless you have party leadership. Very helpful. So, yeah, I mean, it's very much in the vein of a lot of difficult quests where basically you just need to build up a credible board state and then sprint through to the finish, but the quest makes it difficult for you to build up that credible board state. You have to build it up at a decent pace because of how much your threat dial is getting hit, and so on. In any case, anything interesting in these decks that didn't happen? Not really. And maybe, I mean, I never actually got to use Gondorian Fire or Blood of Numenor, so I never had the actions spare. I always just wanted Mablon to be questing, and I had enough combat power without him. Keely, both unexpected courage would have been nice. Squires of the Citadel to further boost these. In any case, that worked. As I said, easier than I was expecting, easier than the previous time I tried to record it, but regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.